I feel like I don't really have a lot of pressure. My next fight, I'm fighting a guy named Merab. I feel like I'm gonna knock him out. You know, I just knocked his training partner out, who in my opinion would beat Merab.
Imagine being a kid from Helena, Montana with a dream to one day be UFC champion.
My dad would watch fighting and I was like, what are you doing? That's like disgusting.
You start kickboxing in high school as a way to build your self-confidence. After a couple of pro fights, you're introduced to your new coach that changes everything, Tim Welch.
I was in Montana beating up guys that weren't very good. I come down to Phoenix, one of the best gyms in the world, the MMA lab. Every single practice, I left crying.
You rise in the rankings to find yourself on Dana White's Contender Series, where you earn your UFC contract with one of the most electric knockouts ever. Now, you are the reigning bantamweight champion of the world and well on your way to the Hall of Fame.
I feel like I'll go down as one of the greatest fighters of all time. I want a boxing fight. I want to get a big boxing fight. I want Gervonta Davis.
My name is VicBlends, and this is DeepCut with Sean O'Malley. Thank you to the sponsor of this episode, Get Joy. Stay tuned for more. Bro, thank you for having me, man. Welcome to the shop.
The cage cut me out.
First cut in the cage?
Think so. First cut
in the cage.
Actually, that's not true. I got cut on my eyebrow once.
The whole eyebrow?
So that is a little different cut, but
yeah. Obviously, you got a lot of hair on top.
Yeah,
not messing with it, but
my baby mama would kill me. She's mad at me right now, so, but yeah.
I'm not gonna take a job. Right, what you want to do with the beard?
Just what everything looks good. I don't know shit about none of that. You just whatever you think looks good.
Trim it up some. Do you ever line up your mustache? You just kind of keep it natural.
Sometimes I just hit a little something, but not a lot.
I bet. And then right here on this side, you leave this natural. You don't like that, like squared up?
Squared up.
Say no more.
Can you give me a little X on the eyebrow?
It's the first time I'm in the shop with no shoes too.
Really?
Yeah.
Feel weird or no?
Nah, weird. Nah, comfy.
Oh,
it's comfy.
It is.
And so Helena, Montana.
Helena.
Is that
most people say Helena?
I asked pronunciation earlier.
No, a lot of people say Helena.
I feel like I was gonna cook it.
Nah.
Helena,
yeah.
Helena. What is the city like growing up there? I'm also from a small town, but it's a special thing to kind of be from a small town.
It feels like I recently went back and it just feels like it's like 20 years in the past. Like it feels like they're like 2000 right now. I thought growing up, I didn't realize it was a small town. I thought just kind of like everywhere was kind of small just because I'd never really been out of Helena. So I just felt like it was normal. Everyone knew everyone for the most part. For fighting wise, I feel like it was really important growing up there. Because I was fighting, like Montana doesn't have like a super good competition. So I was fighting like, I was knocking people out. I was naturally pretty good. So I was fighting guys and I was like, oh shit, I'm really good. Like I didn't realize the level of competition. So I got this confidence from beating people that weren't very good.
Was there always confidence in you as a kid or before you started fighting?
I feel like I was pretty like confident in sports. Like I always felt like, give me the ball. Like I was always small for like football and stuff, and I feel like I never got my shot. I felt like I was a good athlete, but they had like almost their favorites. Like, hey, let's just like these are our stud athletes. These are the guys we're gonna go with. And I feel like I always hated that. It drove me crazy. I feel like I never got the chance to be in a position to show that I could compete with those guys. So I was like, going to the high school, I was just kind of over that scene, the sports, the team scene, and also just going into high school. I think every single kid, if you ask them, maybe not if you ask them directly, but everyone's insecure. I was an insecure kid going into high school, wanted to get chicks, wanted to be an athlete, wanted to get recognition. I was like, I'm like, fighting sounds pretty cool. Like people gotta respect that. So boxing, kickboxing is where I got that confidence from.
Yeah, what was your vision? I guess is what you would be doing as an adult when you were in Helena, maybe right before you started fighting. What do you think you were gonna be doing with your life?
It's fun. I mean, there was a point where I thought I could be like in the NBA, NFL. Like I was, in middle school. Those were the dreams, the hopes, the goals. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be an athlete. Fighting was not. I remember my dad would watch fighting, and I was like, "What are you doing? That's like disgusting." People get kicked in the ribs. I'm like, how does that not break? People get punched in the chin. I'm like, how are they even standing? Like I hated fighting. I couldn't watch it with him. Like he would go and have fight parties that I couldn't go watch. I just didn't like fighting. which is so weird to think, obviously what I'm doing now. But once I started kickboxing and stuff, it was like, it switched. Like I wanted to be an athlete in there. I wanted to kickbox. I didn't necessarily want to be in the UFC because I didn't wrestle, I didn't grapple, I didn't like that. I thought that was dumb. So I was like, oh, I could be a boxer, kickboxer. And then I realized, I was like, the UFC, I started seeing the UFC more. I was like, okay, UFC's kind of dope. Maybe I do have to start grappling, have to start wrestling. It was never like, oh, if I don't make it, like I could do this. Like, for whatever reason, I was gonna make it. I was gonna be the face of the UFC someday, which is so weird and so delusional to think when I was like 18 that I was gonna be where I'm at now.
Yeah.
It's actually trippy thinking about like how confident I was and how I would have put my life like on. I would have told you I'm gonna be a champ. I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna be in the UFC. I'm gonna be the face of the UFC. At 18, my skill levels were so not even close, like to where I'm at right now. To say that, it sounds crazy. Like people come up to me and say that, and it's like, I'm like, what? No, like there's no way. But I was that kid telling people that I'm gonna be in the UFC, and literally people were like, bro, you're crazy.
It takes that.
100%.
It takes that, and I watched a lot of your stuff as I was prepared to talk to you, and you've always had conviction in your voice.
Yeah.
And I feel similar that I just believed I would be doing something.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wanted to be celebrating this world, and I chose a traditional job to try to show kids and the rest of the world that regardless of what you want to do, you can be celebrated, you can make an impact. Mm-hmm. So I feel grateful to be that as a barber. And do you just think that the conviction you had in your voice as you were speaking about those things young made it really happen for you?
I mean, the work, obviously, putting in the work for it happen. I think there is a level, or there's like a certain amount of having to believe it for it to happen, but it comes down to putting in the work. I think me saying it out loud, me being confident in it, made me realize I really do got to put in the work. Like me telling everyone I'm gonna be that, I was like, I gotta put in the work. I can't.
When you were, I think you were on a contender, and you went in there, you said, I'm gonna knock this guy out clean. I'm gonna sweep him, and then you went right outside after, and you said, well, I better go knock him out now.
Yeah,
so you talked of that shit on camera.
I mean, it was a Contender Series interview, so it was the first time I knocked this dude out in LFA, in Phoenix, and then Contender Series, Dana White's Contender Series was just starting. It was season 1, episode 2, so it was the second week they've ever done it. Yeah, and I remember I just got done doing an interview, sitting there saying, I want to knock this dude out, and then after I was walking around telling my coach, I'm like, damn, I better knock this dude out.
Yeah,
I talked a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that was a good moment to see. And what was your family thinking when you were like, yo, I'm gonna be in the UFC, I'm gonna be MMA early? Like, were they? Well, I'm sure your mom was probably a little worried. She didn't like nurse and probably thinks about the health a little bit more.
Yeah, she didn't love it, but she also didn't know what else I would do. Like she just kind of was like, well, you need to get a job, so you need to start making money. You need to start paying rent or like move out on your own or something. My dad went to every single one of my fights, 16, 17. I mean, I'm trying to think. He might have missed one fight, and I fought over 30 times. I think he might have missed one. But yeah, my dad was pumped because he was a detective, he was a cop. He was like, and I was a little shithead, so he was like, just do something. Like he was trying to do something. He knew I was a good athlete, so he was excited that I was trying to do something with my life, And but yeah, my mom didn't love the idea of fighting. But then when she started finally, like years later, when I started making money, she was like, oh, okay, I kind of like, this was, I mean, I started training when I was 16.
Yeah.
I didn't really start making money until I was like 22, 23. So it took her a while for her to be like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, this is actually real.
All right, y'all, let's take a quick break from this episode to thank our DeepCut partner, GetJoy. GetJoy is a dog wellness platform with gut-healthy nutrition at the core of what they do. They make products that prioritize your dog's health just as much as you do your own, so you guys should have more time to create joyful memories together. GetJoy is the best dog food I've ever given Russ. I've been using it exclusively for Russ for the last 4 months. I've never seen him be this excited to eat since I've been giving him GetJoy. The guy who started this company did it because his dog died young but could have lived longer if he put healthier food into his bowl. So we started GetJoy to personally make that happen. I'm proud to partner with GetJoy and even prouder to serve it to my boy Russ. They work with expert veterinary nutritionists to make science-backed fresh freeze-dried meals, superfood treats, and chews made with real quality ingredients that are optimized for your dog's health. GetJoy goes beyond the bowl with the preventative supplements, 24/7 accessible televet care, and even smart collar technology, all designed for you to create an easier daily wellness routine. This is all for you and your dog to live a healthier, happier, and longer life together. I've been adding GetJoy's fresh and freeze-dried food to the top of every one of Russ's meals so far, and he's been in love with it. Developed by PhD animal nutritionists, the beef and the chicken recipes are developed with quality ingredients. Put your dog's health first with GetJoy's fresh and freeze-dried meals. You can get 60% off your first auto-ship box by using the code VIC60, and you can do that by clicking the link down below. That's code VIC60 for 60% off your first auto-ship box. Now let's get back to the episode. The journey to the UFC is probably really untraditional too. You know, like I don't know if there's a traditional path that you take to be a professional fighter. If you think about basketball or football, it's high school, you go to college, you go to the draft. When you were just having this dream of being champ one day, when were you like, all right, this is the path I'm gonna make, or this is the plan I have to make to do so?
I was so lucky that because when I moved down to Phoenix, Tim Welch, who's my coach right now, my best friend, because he turned pro when he was like 20. So from 21, 22, 23, 24, he grew, he did everything wrong. So then when I moved down, we lived together. He had a very good idea of what not to do. He took hard fights when he was like 20 years old. He was in Bellator fighting these undefeated Russians when he should have been building his career, building his skills, fighting guys that weren't as good, building up that record. So he did a lot of the things wrong that I didn't have to do. So I was lucky to be able to kind of be mentored by Tim. And I fought. I think it was like a kind of a similar rise up to boxing. Like I was going out there, I was trying to win 5-6 fights in a row, fighting not the best guys, build my record, build my skills, to put myself in a position to where I get signed at Dana White's Contender Series. Before it was Contender Series, because that wasn't a thing when I was like coming up. It was a thing like right when I was in the point to where I was either gonna go on the Ultimate Fighter, that was one way in, or you get signed from just having sweet performances. And in my case, I was coming off a crazy knockout on LFA, the David Nuzzo knockout, which went pretty viral for not having a huge following. I feel like I could have got signed to the UFC just from that knockout alone. But Dana White Contender Series right now is the biggest platform, the best way to get into the UFC.
Yeah. What made you decide to trust Tim when you first met him?
He was from Great Falls, Montana. I'm from Helen, Montana. It's about an hour away.
He's also in Montana.
Yep, Montana guy. I was sitting downstairs in my living room. I think I was 17 at the time, so I started training. I finally watching. It was on Spike TV, Bellator. And then I was watching it. I was like, Tim Welch, Great Falls, Montana. I was like, what? This dude's on TV? Like, if you were on TV at that point, I was like, this dude's famous. Like, he's on TV.
Yeah.
So he was on TV. I was like, that's crazy. And then I fought when I was 18 years old in Great Falls, his hometown. And he was already living in Phoenix training, trying to get in the UFC, try to do what every fighter does, try to build their record in the UFC. And he was in Great Falls commentating my fight. I armbarred this dude. At the after party, he was like, hey, if you want to come down to Phoenix and train at like a real gym, let me know. I called him the next day. I was like, hey, look, I want to come down. He's like, whoa, chill. I was like, can I come down tomorrow? He's like, yeah, later. Let me get back. Let's figure something out. So I think I flew down the week after and stayed. And that was the first time training outside of Montana. I came down for 10 days, trained for like 7 days in a row. Every single practice, I left crying. I was 18. I was 18 years old. Again, I was in Montana beating up guys that weren't very good. I come down to Phoenix, one of the best gyms in the world, the MMA lab, and I get dominated.
Yeah, but at that point, because you said even when you were doing other sports and you realized, all right, this isn't people a lot better. When you came to Arizona and you're getting your ass beat, what made you keep going there? Because it could have been a moment that turned you away where it's like, all right, these guys are really skilled. Maybe it's not for me.
I think it was in the moment I'd be down on myself, cry, be upset, but I feel like I was able to rationalize in my head, be like, okay, these guys are, I was like training against guys who were like 32 grown men that are in the UFC. I'm like, okay, these guys have been doing it their entire life. I need to just be in the gym more. I know I have the athleticism. I wasn't necessarily book smart, school smart, street smart, but I was athletically smart. You could show me something, I could replicate it, I could do it, I could implement it into my skill set. So I was like, I just need to be in the gym more. Like, that's why these guys are better than me, because they put in more work than me. And I was able to make sense of that in my head. And there's weight classes. You know, there's not weight class in the NFL. I wasn't going to be, I'm 155, 156. Like, there's no, you know, I'm not going to be in the NBA, I'm not going to be in the NFL. But at fighting, there's a weight class. I can fight at 135.
Yeah.
Like, these guys are way the same as
There's going to be something for you.
So I was like, I need to just be in the gym. Be in the gym. So trained for, you know, a week. And it was the first time on a plane. First time in Arizona. It was a cool experience. But yeah, so I flew back home to Montana, worked full time, 40 hours a week, saved up $2,000. I bought a car, paid it off, saved up $2,000, and drove down when I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
And Tim and I got an apartment by the gym, and literally it was 2 a days every day, just grinding. And yeah.
Man, when you think back to those times, do you miss them at all?
Not much. It's honestly not much different than my life right now. We'd wake up, go to the gym, come home, take a nap, play some Call of Duty, go back to the gym.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I came to train this morning, busting this out. Like, I enjoy stuff like this. This is cool. Go home, but, you know, maybe take a nap, maybe play some Call of Duty, and then bust out another workout later this afternoon. So it's like life's pretty similar as it was back then. But yeah, it was. You look back on those moments when I was, you know, essentially broke. I didn't have extra money to go buy anything. I was just barely getting by. It keeps me humble, like training with guys that are just turning pro, that are badass kids that are coming up 19, 20 years old, that are just, they're hungry. They want to make it. Like, I've already made it. I could quit fighting today and live comfortably. Like, I don't have to work. I don't have to train. I don't have to fight ever again. But then there's guys in here that are just hungry and they want it bad. And that, you know, inspires me and motivates me to, like, keep grinding. Like, I know 29 years old right now. I have 5, 6, whatever many more years left of physically being able to do it. As like, you know, you hit a peak to where you're like, all right, I'm slowing down. So it's hard. It's not hard for me, but it also is to just keep in the grind, keep grinding. Because like I said, I only got so many years.
There's a lot of pressure, I guess, when you make it to this point. I'm sure you feel that, you know, even now being champion, there's got to be this expectation of you to now defend. It was always expectation to make it, but now you're defending. You have family, and there's a lot of just pressure on you every day. How do you manage that?
Yeah, that's something I feel like I've been good about, not feeling that kind of pressure. It's like, I almost felt more pressure to make it. Like, I'm like, I made it at the top. I can say I've been champ. I can say I defended the belt. Most people in the world won't be able to say that. Most people in the UFC won't be able to say that. Like, I feel like I don't really have a lot of pressure. My next fight, I'm fighting a guy named Merab. It's on like a 12-fight win streak. Probably because I feel like I'm gonna knock him out. Maybe it's just like I'm like so confident in my skills, my abilities, and at him as an opponent. Like, he's a short wrestler. That's, you know, I just knocked his training partner out, who in my opinion would beat Merab. So I don't know if it's just, I think it's per fight maybe. Like, but going into fights, I never really feel pressure. I just kind of, like, life's good. You know, I go out there and lose. Like, I still have such good people around me. I still, you know, I still have, you know, my princess, you know, good people around me, to where I feel like, you know, losing, it's scary. It's like a scary thought, but in reality, like, if it happens, it's just like on to the next. The thing about being like a superstar is people are gonna love to see you lose. Like, there's so many, especially when I'm confident, especially when I say, like, I'm gonna knock Merab out. I'm confident that people love to hate confidence, because most people are insecure, and it just drives them crazy. So when I say I'm gonna knock Merab out, people would love for me to lose, just because I'm so confident.
They build you up to tear you down. They want to see you win, and then once you get there, it's like, all right, fuck this guy.
Yeah, but I don't feel, as far as pressure, I truly believe I can go down as one of the greatest fighters of all time if I continue to do what I know I'm capable of doing. I just got to stay healthy and stay on the right track, and just stay healthy. And that's the biggest thing with training, and training hard. And you got to sleep good. You got to eat good. You got to just, you know, warm up good before hard rounds like that. But yeah, I feel like I guess there's a little bit of pressure I put on myself to live up to my potential. I know my potential is I could be one of the greatest of all times. And by doing that, I got to go out there and knock this guy out who's on a 12-fight win streak. I got to go out there and beat the next guy. I got to move up a weight class, beat those guys. Like, there's a lot of pressure that could be put on, but I feel like I kind of just also know that doesn't happen. Like, that's how it rolls.
Yeah. I'm sure when you come home and you got family and princess at the crib, does it eliminate all that when you come home and it's like, man, family's here?
Yeah, well, having a little. I've always wanted kids. Like since I was in middle school, I was like, I want to be a dad.
I can't wait to be a dad, man.
Just like some people it trips me out when people say they don't want kids. I get it too. It's like even if you have a little bit of freedom, say you work 40 hours a week, whatever, and you just have a little bit of freedom, like once you have a kid, you have zero freedom, like no freedom. I feel like I'm in a lucky position. We have family here. We have a lot of help. So I do still have a little bit of freedom when I need it. But yeah, I just knew deep down I want to have kids. So it's cool. It's, having a little princess is, the coolest thing in the world. It's like you go out there, lose a fight. It's like I still have my princess. So
yeah, I got two nieces, man. They got my heart. Yeah, and they got me. What do you feel your proudest moment has been so far?
I think, I don't know if it's a proudest moment, like winning the belt in Boston, knocking out Aljamain Sterling, who's considered one of the greatest bantamweights of all time. That moment is one of the craziest, electrifying moments of joy ever. It was just I had a little injury. I was going into it. I was a huge underdog. We were in Boston. It was Dana's, hometown. It was a massive event. It was that moment was crazy, but the proudest overall thing is just I feel like I'm truly a good dad, and that's the coolest thing ever. It's I'm with Elena a lot. I feel like in my position, I'm able to be with her way more than most parents, just because I don't have to go to work 40 hours a week. So I see Elena every day, every night, every morning. I'm with Elena. So that's the coolest thing. The thing that I'm proudest of is that I can say and truly feel like I'm a really good dad.
I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you, brother.
My dad means the world to me, man. So I know I'm just to have a good dad, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing amazing.
Yeah.
Man, that's what's up, bro.
How old are you?
25 now. I just turned 25 in April.
25. So you're young. You're a young buck. I think I had Elena when I was 26. 26.
Were you scared? Nah, you weren't scared. I know you were excited, but were you scared?
I wasn't. I feel like because I was 26, I was not I wasn't in anywhere near financial where I'm at right now. So I think the scariest thing about having a kid is for me it was financial. I'm like, God, I just want to make sure I can I don't want diapers to be an issue
or life they need.
Yeah, I don't want little things to be an issue. So I wasn't really scared. I have a dope baby mama. She's a great mom. So I think that's obviously a huge part of it too. Is you want someone that's gonna be, helping raise her. And Danny's mom, so Elena's grandma, only speaks Spanish. And I don't know why I thought that was so cool. Even being in Helen, I was like,
she speaks Spanish?
Elena speaks Spanish. She understands it more than she speaks it. She won't really talk in Spanish to me. But she'll to Danny's mom, she'll speak Spanish. She understands.
My dad's Puerto Rican and my mom's Russian. They both speak the language. They didn't teach me. I'm sick.
Oh, I know. I'm hoping Elena, I try to talk to her in Spanish. I don't know a ton, but if I try, she'll no, only mama, she calls Danny's grandma. Only mama can talk like that. So it's funny, she doesn't know what's going on, but she definitely understands Spanish, and it's dope.
Yeah. And what at this point, when you make it here, I could imagine there's so much work that needs to be into the craft. What are the hardest things that we can't see that you have to deal with?
I'd say injuries for just athletes in general. It's such a pain in the butt. Right now I feel really good, and it's, next week I could be dealing with this injury or this injury. So injuries are overall just the worst thing for athletes. It's horrible, but it's also, there's enjoyment in that. There's a level of satisfaction after hard trainings like that it just feels good. You just feel almost like zen. You feel at peace. But having to go and train again later sometimes kind of sucks. That's what's nice about being out of camp. Sometimes I'll just train once a day, hard train in the morning, and then just get to chill the rest of the day. Yeah. But then when I get into camp, I train hard right now, but then I'm gonna go. Sometimes you got to make yourself just get up, get moving. Sometimes the hardest part is just getting to the gym or start warming up. then it kind of starts flowing. But 2-a-days sometimes are tough. Injuries are tough. I enjoy eating good. I enjoy kind of being on a good, even out of camp, I'm on a good sleeping schedule. So I enjoy that aspect of life. I kind of started learning about health, like sleep and food, to be a better athlete. But then I was like, oh wow, like that's important. Just feeling good as a human. Like that's where people, I feel like, are lacking the most, just in feeling good as a human, is like sleeping good and eating good. 2 simple things, staying hydrated, like little things like that.
I see, I mean, you've accomplished your goal, you know, and I'm sure you have more goals as a fighter, but as a person, what is your goal in your life?
I think the biggest thing is like being a good dad, and that's kind of like the main one, and helping build up the people around me, helping you know, my buddies build up their crafts. Tim, help him build his gym, build his stuff around him. But yeah, just being a good person, you know, being able to lay down at night and just, you know, feeling like a good person.
Yeah, you help a lot of people, man. I think it's really fucking dope.
Yeah, no, thank you, bro.
A lot of people could get here and not do so.
It's, you know, what's trippy is like Tim and I, like I said, we've been doing our podcast, the Timbo Sugar Show, for like, I want to say 5 or 6 years now, and the amount of people that have moved out of their state to Arizona just to train jiu-jitsu, like if you guys, like Monday tonight, jiu-jitsu, there'll be like 50 people in here training in this room, then the other room right there, there'll be people.
They invited me to come train. I might come wrestle. I've never wrestled in my life.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's a trip that, because I'll come in here like just a normal, like open to the public gym, and it's like crazy the amount of people that moved here just to be a part of the community. And they're like, dude, I started eating healthy, changed my life, lost 50 pounds, whatever. I finally got on a sleeping schedule, because like that's the reason we started the podcast, was almost to hold ourselves accountable, to keep learning and keep improving. And like there's so many people with depression and anxiety, and I've definitely had those. I never felt like I suffered from it. I feel like most of my anxiety, depression was self-inflicted. It was because, you know, you go out to the club and you drink and you go to bed at 6 a.m. and then you have this like anxiety or this level of depression. So I've definitely felt it, but for us starting the podcast, to learn about stuff like that, like where does that come from and why, and a lot of it's just healthy habits, so you can really eliminate a lot of that stuff. Yeah. But we have changed a lot of people's lives and improved a lot of people's lives, and it's badass, feels good.
Well, it's one of the most inspiring and just it feels amazing to be in a position. Like, I feel like that when people tell me that they've watched a video of mine and it helped them mentally and got them through something, and you're here now. You're Sean O'Malley, and there's a 16-year-old kid from Helena, Montana right now that's looking at you, and they want to be the next one.
Yo,
what would you tell 16-year-old Sean?
I think just trust the process. Like that's the biggest thing. Like in camp, every time I get in camp, Brandon Harris, my strength and conditioning coach, reminds me too. I feel like I'm pretty good at it at this point. But it's always good to, you know, hear reminders and stuff, but just trust the process. Like figure out what the process is, what you need to do. I feel like, you know, a lot of people know what they need to do, and I think anxiety comes from when people aren't doing the things they know they need to do, and they're just sitting there and like, I'm anxious. Like, well, what's the shit that you need to get done? Like, did you work out? Did you do what you needed to do today to feel at peace? So I think just trusting the process and doing what needs to be done day to day is a good reminder. Probably what I'd tell myself when I was 16 is trust the process, go to the gym, and you get your ass kicked. Like that's such a huge part of it. It's like, I'm the champ right now. I get my ass kicked every day. Like I still get my ass kicked. I feel like I'll go down as one of the greatest fighters of all time, and I'll still get my ass kicked every day. You know, and if you're not training with good enough guys.
Yeah, man, fuck the what if. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? It's gotta be what you think.
Yep.
I don't want to leave this earth with the what if. If I would have just worked a little harder, I would have locked in a little bit more, made the sacrifices needed. Today's the perfect day to say why not.
Yeah, I'm like scared of not living up to my potential. That's kind of what's scary.
I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
And that shit, like at night I would think about that, and I would like feel like I'm on a roller coaster. Cause I think, again, we're like hard critics on ourselves, but I don't know, man. What if, like, not what if, but if I look back at this, I don't want to feel like I didn't give it my all.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm alive today and I got a chance to do it and I am healthy, I don't want to ever take that for granted, because the gift that we have to do what we love, it's a gift and it can be taken at any time.
Yeah.
So I never want to feel that I'm not taking it or I'm not being grateful for it. But that thought scares me.
Yeah, being great. I'm not great at it. I could definitely be better at it, and I've felt when I am good at it in the moment, being grateful for what I have, but it's hard to be grateful for what you have when you're constantly wanting more. And in my position right now, like I constantly want, like I want more, which I think is good, but I could be way better at being grateful for what I already have. So it's a balance. You got to be grateful for what you have, but you also have to want more. You don't have to want more necessarily, but I think it's a good thing.
It's so funny you saying that. I got this fat ass tattoo on my stomach called more. And I was when I was 20, 21, I was like, oh, what the fuck is my brand gonna be? Like as I blow up and I make my brand, I was thinking more at like 19, 20 that I needed to get more. And that was when I was coming out of Fayetteville and felt like I had nothing. So I'm trying to get it as much as I can. And I was like, oh, I'll inspire people to get more. And I ran for this more so much that it drove me to the dirt, and I burned out, and I fucking realized that like having more could take away from what you have now. And then now my brand is called Planted. It's my one little face tat, and being planted and being rooted in who you are and what the fuck you believe in and what you love is the most important thing. And there can always be more out there, bro.
Yeah, you need to get less is right above it.
I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with this now. Yeah,
that's funny, but it's good. It's part of your journey. It's part of your path. I still think wanting. I don't think there's anything with wanting more. Anything
sure, like, you gotta fucking have some goals. We gotta have some goals.
Yeah, as long as you can add a little bit of gratefulness in, a little bit every day, just kind of be like, damn. Sometimes I'll sit out in my hot tub. Not right now. It's 130. But
the fuck out.
Yeah. But I'll sit out there. Just I put some dope trees in my backyard. I'll just be like, damn, this is. It's crazy that everything I wanted has happened exactly the way I pretty much pictured in my head. But it's trippy.
Not crazy. You fucking earned it, bro.
Yeah.
You made every sacrifice possible. You did every right move. You listened to everything God told you to do. You did it.
Yeah.
So what keeps you planted now?
3-year-old daughter.
Yeah, family.
Princess. She keeps me there. But yeah, and just being scared of not fulfilling my potential. I'm like, I'm trying to take it year at a time, fight at a time. It's nice when I have fights lined up, kind of break it down because if I do 3-month camps and I fight twice, it's like, okay, for half the year I'm in camp, and it's good for me mentally to be in camp. Cause it's like there's a loose cannon in everyone, but I feel like with fighters, especially, it's like, you gotta stay disciplined. You can jump off the deep end real quick. So I just gotta force myself to do everything right.
Hey, you got a shitload of energy. And all that.
Yeah.
I know you got a tight schedule, so I got this section called Quick Cuts, presented by Get Joy. That childhood celebrity crush.
Childhood celebrity crush? Oh, it's probably Hannah Montana back in the day. Love that girl.
Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
Marvel's Vanessa Hudgens. I fucking love me some Vanessa Hudgens.
She's up there.
Got to be. All right, fiercest animal that you think you could take on in a fight?
I feel like animals they'll just destroy us. Fiercest? I don't even know if a crazy dog might take me out. I don't know.
We talked earlier, we think you could do wolf or alligator.
Hell no, neither. I wouldn't even. I feel like they're no.
If I had to bet my money on Sean O'Malley versus a wolf or an alligator, I'm betting.
Maybe like a 2-week-old wolf. No, I think, I don't know. I don't like my odds in any either of those. Maybe like a little cat. A declawed cat.
Animals are unpredictable.
They are.
Dream UFC fight, as you would love to watch, either retired or current, if you could put up craziest matchup.
That I'd love to watch? I feel like out of think about this. You know what's crazy? I didn't even even when I started fighting, I never really super got into the UFC until I was like 19, 20, until I moved down to Arizona. Tim would always make fun of me. He's like, bro, you can't even name the champions in the UFC right now, which was true. So I hadn't been following UFC that long, and even still, I don't follow it super close. I obviously know the champions and stuff now, but I would have to say, as an excitement level, Conor versus. You could put anyone up there, and that would be legendary. Just because the level of excitement you get when Conor walks out and he's making that walk.
Conor versus Sean O'Malley.
Conor versus the Suga Show would be absolutely crazy.
Fucking nuts.
That's it.
Most interesting division outside of bantamweight.
I don't know if it's as exciting when there's a dominant champ that just isn't being beat. Ilia versus Max could be really cool, but it's like that division's not super deep right now. Islam, I don't even know who he's gonna fight next.
That dude's savage.
Yeah,
I don't
know who's gonna beat him. I truly believe. I know you said outside the bantamweight division. I truly believe the bantamweight division is the most exciting right now. Man, I don't know. Low key, I feel like bantamweight just stands out. I think it's always 55. I mean, I am excited if Ilia versus Max is next for 45, but I don't even know who. I'll say 50. Lightweight, probably. Lightweight, yeah.
Hardest shot that you've taken in the octagon and hardest shot that you've given?
Peter Yan, left hand, Abu Dhabi. I cracked him, boom, dropped him with the right hand. I switched stances, he switched stances at the same time, and just catches me with a boom, left hand, turns my chin. That was the hardest I've ever been hit. The hardest hit I've given. I feel like it was that knee I landed on Cheeto that last fight. That thing was nasty.
Bro, that was disgusting. The sound of that.
Boom. Yeah, that felt good. I don't like that guy. That felt good. I hope I land the same one on Merab. It takes his head. I hope his head actually falls off. I feel like that was probably the hardest one. Eddie Wineland, put him to sleep. Those aren't necessarily, those are hard shots, but they're just accurate and fast. Think right on the chin just shuts their lights off. Thomas Almeida, when he was on his back, and I jumped on him with a big right hand, was a big shot. Yeah, just one of those probably.
If you could smoke with one person, dead or alive.
So I actually have barely been smoking these last like 3 months. I've barely been smoking, but
you gotta light it up for one legend.
For me, like when I get high, I like to get high at my house, at home, and stretch and just kind of be by myself. I like getting high with the fellas too, getting goofy, but getting high with some random legend.
I've always said if Snoop, I think for everybody, if Snoop passed,
smoke with Snoop.
Damn, it's like on everybody.
After I knocked out Alfred in the Contender Series,
and he said he wanted to be Snoop, guy that lighten it up.
And I smoked. I pretty much blacked out that night. I just knocked this dude out. It's going viral. Just got signed to UFC.
Yeah.
I'm smoking with Snoop in his trailer, passing blunts around, and I'm just I don't even barely remember that. But I smoked with Snoop. I feel like it'd be a comedian. If I could pick, it would be some kind of comedian that's well, maybe not. Jesus.
Hell of a session. We know you got Merab coming up. You gotta finish business at 135. Do you ever see yourself moving up 140, 145?
So it was 135, 145. Ilia is the champ right now. Ilia versus Max, I believe, is what I think's going to be next. Ideally, we all fight on the same card. I beat Merab, knock him out viciously. Boom, land a couple extra shots before the ref can get in. And then Ilia Max fight and fight the winner of those, whoever wins that. If Max wins, he's the 45-pound champ and BMF. If Ilia wins, he's the 45 and BMF. So, moving up would be a massive, massive fight for the company, for the UFC. Like, I want a boxing fight. I want to get a big boxing fight. I want Gervonta Davis. I want Ryan Garcia. I want a big boxing fight. I got to earn that big boxing fight. So the way I do that is by going up a weight class and knocking one of those guys out. Like, you can't deny me a boxing fight. If I go out there, knock Merab out, knock Ilia out, or Max out, like, you can't deny that. You got to give me that boxing fight. People hate when I bring up boxing. They hate it. And I'm fine with that. They hate on it. But if I do that, you got to give it to me. You got to say, okay, you get it. You get that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that's kind of where my head's at.
Yeah.
And that same delusional 16-year-old that would have told everyone I'm going to be in the UFC, I'm going to be the champ, I'm going to defend the belt, they think I'm crazy, are the same people that think I'm crazy for even saying that. Like, I want to knock out that guy, I want to knock out this guy, I want to box. Like, people can say, oh, you're crazy, that's never going to happen. It's like, people have been saying that my whole life. Like, that doesn't affect me or make me feel any certain way. Like, oh, maybe that can't happen. Like, that doesn't even make sense to me. Like, anything can happen.
Yeah, I don't doubt shit coming from you, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, bro. It really was full circle to be able to watch you, or to be able to talk to you, because, I watched you fight, before I was even cutting hair, being, in Fayetteville, in my hometown, and seeing you come up. So thank you for just letting me share this, bro, and get a shot at it.
Yeah, thank you, brother. It was fun. Good time.
Yo, for someone that never wrestled before, how long would it take you to maybe tap out?
10 seconds. I probably grab your neck pretty quick. Like in this.
I think I would do 30 seconds.
No.
No?
No shot. 30? No.
Bro, I got that dog in me.
Yeah, but we can't. I mean, we don't got oxygen in you. It don't matter what you got in you. Fall asleep.
I got oxygen.
Yeah, but I grab that neck. I'll probably grab it. If we're in a circle like this. Yeah, probably like 15 seconds maybe. I bet I just grab your head. Like,
No, bro, you gotta give me some respect. 15 seconds is...
That's respect. I said 10.
15 respect is crazy.
No, I mean, realistically, yeah, 15. I mean, we could try it.
What if I submit you?
You never know that now, probably.
Dana better give me a fucking contract if I submit you.
I think he honestly would. And I bet he would agree to that too.
Shit, if you got 30 seconds, bro, I wanna...
We could try it. We could try it.
All right, let's get this shit, man. God damn. Hold that 5 minutes. Back. 16 minutes. That's a lot of sections. Yeah, that shit hurt.
You guys want to sit up sweet? Just up. I like you here, real freeze.
Yo, I'm close to 30 right now. What's that?
That was about 40.
See? First that.
This is the first one. It's actually
Nick, thank you for having me on. Sorry I had to choke you in 6 seconds. Appreciate it, baby. That was a great show.
Yo, I just want to thank my guy Sean for pulling up to the show. I appreciate your energy and inspiration, man. Good luck on your next fight. Get that knockout. It's been fun carrying you on Call of Duty. We'll see y'all on the next episode.